Hey guys, what's up? This is Jordan Crook with Techcrunch, and I'm here with Dogfish Accelerator, which is James Belfer and Michelle Soffen. So hello, thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So why don't you tell people what Dogfish Accelerator is all about, because it's kind of different from some of the other accelerators that we cover.
So Dogfish Accelerator, we've taken the seed startup accelerator model from the tech industry and we're applying it to independent film to create a business development lab for producers to learn entrepreneurial skills and to better set up their venture so it can actually have financial success and financial rewards while also supporting independent filmmakers to push creative and artistic boundaries.
A film, it's actually an asset that's in perpetuity forever. Mm-hmm. And it can continue to generate revenue until the end of time. So, just after something comes out in theaters, it doesn't mean it's done with. And if we as filmmakers start thinking about our films as brands, not just products, as companies really, we could get a lot more out of them. So there's that similarity there. And then also if you think about selling to a distributor, it's kind of like a big exit for a tech startup.
What's happening is creatives are the people that are largely driving the business behind all of these different companies. And so because of that, there's a lot of focus on we need to get the film made, we need to get the film done, rather than we need to set up a company and something that can support this in a way that we are building our marketing, we are building our audience and our customer base and our distribution plan. So right now, what film producers largely are doing with their film is creative development. It almost is comparable to saying, what if there was a startup world in which there was only CTOs and no CEOs and no COOs and no one, running the company behind the people creating this product?
Don't you think that there's a big difference between kind of developing a product and a company that you then just go on to support, as opposed to developing a product that it's this big one-time show and then starting again from scratch? Those two business models are very different. So how are you kind of applying the same accelerator program and expecting it to work for such a different product?
At the end of the day, both of these industries, what we're doing is it's high risk, high reward ventures that are solely based on execution. So the thing that the startup community does that is different, and what I noticed from my time as an associate at TechStars and just talking to people in the startup community in general, is entrepreneurs have gotten very good at defining business opportunities and identifying markets and also selling themselves and selling their company. That's what the big difference is.
James first came to me and said he was out in Boulder working for TechStars over the summer as an associate. And he said, I know what we're going to do. We're going to create an accelerator for film. It's going to be TechStars for indie film. And I was like, you're crazy. I didn't know really what an accelerator was. He, had me read Do More Faster. And still I was like, I don't get it. There's so many differences. Like, these companies that go through TechStars, they last forever. A film, you make it, you're done, you move on. And the exits are so different. No one's paying $1 billion for, to acquire a film. Like, where's the comp here? And the more I've learned about this world, the more I've come to see the similarities. First of all, every film is a company, actually. It's, set up as an LLC. There are managers, but we don't think about it like that. Filmmakers tend to think about films as products and only as products. But, like James was saying, if we only had CTOs, if you only had someone creating a product, you wouldn't have all these wonderful apps that we have.
Film needs to develop a model as part of their development process, as part of this stage before the film is made, where you could create a minimum viable product for films that's a landing page that sets the mood, or maybe it's some extra footage that has nothing to do with the film, or maybe it's a trailer. But taking the model and creating a new stage of the process that happens before the film is finalized, that's imitating a lot of what the tech community actually does. Filmmakers can be doing the same thing, where the seed is setting up the opportunity, the Series A is making the actual film, and the Series B and exit is distributing the film. So it's taking that type of model and just applying it to the independent film process.
So one of the striking similarities that I see between the film industry and also the startup kind of world is that it's really hard to succeed. Obviously, there's a high rate of failure when it comes to actually getting your product out to consumers and having them love and enjoy it. And so it seems like the accelerator model in the startup world works because it takes all of that content and all of those products and it kind of floats a few to the top. And so I assume that that's the kind of same thing that you're doing. That clearly works for the festival model. So how are you going to make sure, on top of kind of supporting the business development side of this, how are you going to make sure that these movies end up being successful and these companies end up being successful movie studios afterwards?
The big part about that is focusing on the people. Similar in the tech industry with, the saying, your idea is worthless, it's all about execution. Trying to find those executors in the film industry that are good at creating films that people want to see, that are artistically challenging and push boundaries and are beautiful to watch and go to the festivals.
So we're taking on 6 to 8 producer teams for the first class of the accelerator. And honestly, we don't know what we're going to see. This is an experiment. We expect to learn as we go, but we're hoping that we're going to see these people just fly with their ideas, do the most creative thing they've ever done in their life because they have this support behind them.
So what is the typical budget of an indie film? I mean, you guys are giving them $18,000 each, is that correct?
Yes.
So is that in par with what the average is usually? Is that more or less?
No, that's not the budget at all. This is seed first money in to help them to attract, real talent and to see what they make of that actually very little funding. If they need to use that to pay their rent so that they can live and work in New York for 3 months and focus only on this, then that's what they have to do. If they want to use it to develop their marketing campaign or for legal fees.
The criteria for independent film right now is it's independently financed and there's no distribution when you finance the film. That's it. And that's not a strong enough definition for what it means to be independent. To be independent means you really are going to try something different and do something unique, and you don't care what, the powers that be, aka the studios, ultimately want to do as far as the model and the approach to making a film. So when it comes to what is the budget of the average independent film, it varies. What we see as our sweet spot is films that are $1 million and under are fantastic because they don't have a ton of financial risk. Films that are between $1 to $2 million, there's a lot more elements that need to be attached to that. Mm-hmm. And films that are $2 to $3 million in budget, I can be convinced that it makes sense, but there's a lot more work that has to go into it. We as producers, we as executive producers, we as filmmakers, we need to do a better job at figuring out what that value is, because otherwise we're just kind of guessing.
So you guys are accepting applications right now, correct? So what are the requirements, just real quick for our viewers who might be interested?
The application is up. You can see it on our website. And we're using this new platform called F6S. Mm-hmm. And it's cool because a lot of accelerators are using it, and you have to log in to apply with either Facebook or LinkedIn. So there's this social aspect to it. We can actually see that these are real people applying and get to know a little bit more about them. This stage of the application, we don't require a script, which is kind of different. There's actually no place to submit a script or a treatment even. It's a bunch of questions that are focused on helping us get to know who these teams are, what they've done in the past, what their views on entrepreneurship are, and we're trying to see if they're fearless and ready to shake things up. So that's what we're looking for. And to apply, you need to be led by a producer. We are interested in people with business savvy who have made creative content, whether they've published a book or made a short film or have run a startup. We're looking for creative, business savvy people.
Excellent. All right, well, thank you guys so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, that is it for Dogfish Accelerator.